Hello lovely viewers, you are warmly welcome to the all-new and refreshing second season of your favorite magazine sports show, Sports Basilica, right here, of course, on Campus TV. And of course, I am Legit Emmanuel, bringing you the latest in your world of sports. This season promises to be very exciting as always, with some inclusions just for you. So we are ready, and I know you are too. Let's get to it for you to see my guests, and then we will kick off the show. Stay with me.
You are on Trace 101. Keep it locked right here. It's East, baby.
Yes, people, it's Samini.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Trace 101 Africa.
Trace 101, you don't know if anything gone up in the skies. This is Shatawale, Trace 101 Africa. Don't stop, watch this. Keep the dial. Champion.
Captain to the planet of 4x4, and you are watching
Trace 101 Africa.
Alright, hello lovely viewers, welcome back. Yes, as I said earlier, this is the all-new and refreshing second season of your favorite sports magazine show, Sports Basilica, right here on Campus TV. And of course, I am Legit Emmanuel, Legitan Nana Brandon. And as I said, we have several segments included in this particular season just for your enjoyment. Yes, because we care about you. One of those things being the Vim Corner. This segment, we tap into some inspirational quotes from sports personalities across the globe. Yes, it is interesting. So we look at some inspirational quotes from sports personalities across the globe. And also we have another segment called Question of the Day. We seek to know from you, our lovely viewers out there, via our social media platforms, what you think correct answers are to particular questions in this particular segment. And of course, we also have the Let's Vibe. This is my personal favorite. Yes, here we have some questions that we try to inquire from the public out there. We hit the street and we know the opinions of the populace of the country, what they think about specific topics or questions being asked them. So that also is called Let's Vibe. That is my personal favorite. And another favorite of mine also, Sports Lifestyle. Here we go deep down into the lives of some sports personalities to see what they do aside their respective disciplines, talking about their life they live in their homes, their cars they have, their clothes, and many more. So this is a fun-packed, yes, yet very informative and educative season of Sports Basilica, and I need not to say much because you will see it for yourself. But right about now, let's go straight to my guests for today, and I'll let them introduce themselves. Of course, I've been doing it for them, but this season they are changing BBR. So guests introduces themselves to you, our viewers out there. So I'll start from my immediate left. Ebo Marshall. Hey, I feel you. I feel you.
What's up?
Big man, what are you going on? Charlie, so what do you have to say to my viewers right now?
I'm Emmanuel Kwabna. I go by the name Ebo, as we know.
And the Marshall,
Yeah, Marcia. It's very easy. I'm a level 200 student of the Ghana Institute of Journalism. I'm an editor for Live Soccer TV. So, yeah.
Straight, we don't joke here. As you already know, we do not joke at all. Yes, and of course, my far left is the man himself. Hey, Mr. Joel. It's interesting what we were discussing backstage before the show started. And, he's there quite like that. And I'm sure people will be deceived by his looks, but trust me, it's bad man right there. Joel, what's up? Tell my viewers something.
The official name, I think it will only be those who are from my hometown and those in Kumasi. But the name is Joe the Scientific, sports show host on the Radio GID every Sunday, 3 p.m. to 6. Yes.
Straight. So that is it for my guest. Yes, as you can see, very top notch. One is an editor and the other person a sports presenter himself on Radio JID. Of course, their David introduction. I don't know if I need an introduction too, but of course I said it before the show started. And so without much ado, let me start with the first segment. Of course, this is where we tap inspirations from some sporting personalities across the globe, and it is called the Vimkhana. And today we're taking a quote from Michael Jordan, and it's very interesting what he's saying. He said that I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. Let me take it again. I have failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed. This is very deep, guys. I have failed over and over again, and this is why I succeed. And according to Michael Jordan, that is why he succeed. I understand it that he never quits. You know, there have been several times that it was very difficult. It seemed the going was very tough, but he was still very persevering, and he achieved what he wanted to achieve.
Well, I for one, I believe practice makes perfect. That's
Exactly.
number one.
Exactly.
And secondly, failure doesn't necessarily mean the end of the road for you. So being consistent at what you are about, you keeping up and keeping the determination as it should be. I believe with time, the right results will just let itself out. So I believe whatever he said over there, just
Of course. And Joel?
Yeah, like he said, I have failed, but I've still succeeded.
Yeah.
Yeah, so obviously, you know, many sports personalities, how they started, where they are today, or where they ended their career. It is quite an exemplary life for all of us. An example is Kylian Mbappé,
Yeah.
failing trials at Chelsea Academy. He moved on with AS Monaco, and now one of the most sought out after players,
Yeah.
you know, the most expensive players according to Fox magazine.
Yeah.
180 million pounds. Now Chelsea will wish that they have a
Mbappé.
player with a mentality like Kylian Mbappé. So when he failed the trials at Chelsea, he moved on, and now I don't want to say he has succeeded, but
Yeah.
winning a World Cup,
One of the youngest ever to lift
Yes.
the World Cup.
yes, so
Very
winning a World
impressive.
Cup, what else do you need?
Exactly. So this is our Vimkhana for today. Of course, it is coming from Michael Jordan, the veteran b-ball player. He's retired now, but he's arguably the best b-ball player, basketball player that ever lived. Yes, people have their own, you know, names as to who they think is the best in terms of basketball, but you cannot mention basketball without definitely mentioning his name. So he has cemented his place as one of the game's living legends. So that is it for the Vimkhana. But let me also move to another segment that is the question of the day. But here you can go to our social media platforms. Go to Facebook at Campus TVGH, on our Instagram at campus.tv, and also on Twitter at Campus TV_GH, and get interactive with us if you do know the answer. But if you don't know, don't worry, you can copy when others comment. Yes, it is which team won the just ended Asian Cup, and how many times have they won the cup? Which team won the just ended Asian Cup, and how many times have they won that particular cup? This is a question of the day. So guys, let's come back to what we were talking earlier. So before we kickstart with any discussions at all, what is going on currently that have caught your eye in terms of sports?
I'm very much interested in the English Premier League, so yeah, I mostly follow them around it. I think the league is said to be one of the best maybe we've seen so far, as in how things are set up and how the table is shaped up at the moment.
True.
There's a lot happening at the top. There's a whole lot happening at the bottom as well, and
Yeah.
it's really getting interesting. And I mean,
Yeah.
the excitement around it, the whole hype. It will be wrong for you to sit back and be like, oh, okay, so the English Premier League doesn't really have a lot to offer and stuff now.
Yeah.
just sit back and enjoy good football. That's all. So I'm really keen about. I'm just looking forward to how the whole table will turn out at the end of the season.
At the end of the season,
Yeah.
definitely. So we're waiting. According to my boy here, Marshall. Yes, I love to call him that. He said he's waiting to see how the English Premier League table will turn out at the end of the season. But Joel, what do you also have to say?
Yeah, I'm surprised the boy is talking about the English Premier League. The under-20s are playing Senegal today. So I'm surprised the boy is.
But that's why you are there to talk about it.
The under-20s are playing today. So obviously, that is the big news. And aside that, Madam is supposed and his her problems,
Yeah,
contradicting what the
it's just appalling.
association said. That to me is unprofessional. Because in the first place,
If you don't have anything to say, just keep quiet.
just keep quiet. It started with lawyer Diadontin. Now, Madam is
We will get into that. This normalization committee, we will get into that. But let's move away from that also, and let's look at some local news feed across the country and also in Africa. We'll be right back.
Black Satellites of Ghana have beaten Burkina Faso in the opening game of the ongoing Under-20 African Cup of Nations in Niger. The Satellites took the lead in the first half through striker Daniel Omote after some spectacular performance by the team. Daniel Omote again doubled the tally after a defensive blunder from the Burkinabés in the second half of the match. Ghana has won the tournament 3 times, and Coach Kwabla is hopeful his side will produce a much better game in this competition than their recent past to earn a slot for the World Cup slated for Poland later in the year. Kumasi Asante Kotoko suffered a 1-0 defeat to home side Hilal of Sudan, and their former coach was in attendance when the Ghanaians played against the Blue Wave. Former Asante Kotoko coach Drasko Lugarozic, who now heads Sudan national team, has attributed the Porcupine Warriors' below-par performance against Al Hilal on Sunday to the absence of football competition in Ghana. Kotoko succumbed to a 1-0 defeat against Hilal in the first match day of the CAF Confederations Cup group stage thanks to Walid Bakrit's first half goal. The point is one. From the game we watched, you could see that Kotoko are not playing local league or competitive games, and that affected them, Lugarosic said. At the Baba Yara Sports Stadium on February 13th, Kotoko will host Zesco United, who defeated fellow Zambian club Kanya FC 2-0 also on Sunday. Ghana midfielder Sule Muntari has signed a 1-year contract with Spanish second-tier side Albacete. Muntari, 34, has not been without a club since leaving Deportivo La Coruña last summer. The Ghana international has returned to the pitch for the first time in over 6 months. The former AC and Inter Milan star is not new to Spanish football, having played for Deportivo. He has also had stints with Udinese, Pescara and Etihad. Komi stopped his Russian opponent Isa Shinev in the second round of their IBF world title fight over the weekend to join the list of Ghanaian world title boxers like Azuma Nelson, Ike Kwate, Isaac Dogbe and many more. Mr. Isaac Kwame Esiama, Minister of Youth and Sports, has said the new International Boxing Federation IBF lightweight champion Richard Komi will remain an inspiration to the budding talents in the country if he continues with unrelenting ambitions. Mr. Isiama made this known in a statement on behalf of government to congratulate Richard Komi for winning the new IBF lightweight title. In a statement signed by Ms. Gifty Egan, Deputy Public Relations Officer, Mr. Isiama said Komi's unrelenting ambition and road to becoming a world champion makes him more deserving of his title, which makes Ghana and Ghanaians proud of him. It said by this feat, the Youth and Sports Minister was convinced that Richard Komi could go even further and cement his status as the best around, and most importantly, to be like his predecessors. Campus TV and Sports Basilica congratulates Richard Komi on his title win.
You took up the responsibility of restructuring almost every debt facility in the country. You led by yourself, moving the caterpillar. The excitement alone, Honorable.
Well, so excited, and I'm happy because of what we said in the manifesto, that we are going to renovate existing sport infrastructure, put them in good shape, refurbish them. We've started. Accra Sports Stadium has started renovation works. It was abandoned for more than 10 years. Now renovation has started. My office there, Ministry of Youth and Sports, you all saw the shape that it was when it came to power. Now it's been given a facelift. If you all seen it. Here already renovation has started. Their office complex here has been given a facelift. You've seen that where it is. And also, even Accra Sports Stadium, for example, when we came, they did not have even electricity. Now they have electricity. They don't have electricity. Now they have electricity and all those things. So we are committed to all these renovation works, making sure that we have sports infrastructure for youth development, sports infrastructure for the growth of the country, because we are using sports as a tool for job creation and crime prevention. Young people out there through sports can make meaningful lives. They can become stars and they can become very powerful people in society through sports. You've seen it over the years. Sports has produced more legends, has produced more stars, has produced more rich men and women. That's exactly what we want to do. Use sports as a tool for job creation and crime prevention. Young people, they're out there, the talents are out there. All that they need is the investment in sports infrastructure. Exactly what we are doing. We are doing this across the country. 10 regions. Each region is going to have this same facility.
Okay.
Then coming days, you see me in all the regions cutting sword for the, of course, construction of these multi-purpose youth and sports centers.
It will once again be a night of glorious night and pride and history for our sportsmen and women who have excelled in 2018, as well as institutions that have contributed to the development and promotion of sports in the country. And as has been the tradition, we've always delivered a classy event year after year. May 11, hopefully, will be no exception. And we shall do our best to give our patrons, sponsors, award winners, and all stakeholders the best of the night and a very memorable one. And let me just refresh your memory about some of the categories that we shall be honoring on the night. We will have the Promoter of the Year, Capric Promotions, Dedication and Valor. We have Prospect of the Year, and special awards to the likes of Benetton Ghana Limited, Albert K. Frimpong with the skate soccer, Kofi Krum Pharmacy, Akwesi Frimpong, Greater Accra Handball Association, Jonathan Euro, that's kickboxing, Ghana Revenue Authority, Casely Effort. We have Professional Golfer of the Year, Para-Athletes of the Year, Hockey Player of the Year, Rugby Player of the Year, quite a number of nominees. And then we have Arm Wrestling, and as you are aware, Arm Wrestling did a yeoman's job in the year under review. We have Table Tennis Player of the Year, Athlete of the Year, quite a number of nominees as we would circulate the details to you. And there are Meta Boxer of the Year, Professional Boxer of the Year, Footballer of the Year, and this year is going to be quite exciting, isn't it? Because the likes of Mukrama are all featuring out there. And then we have Football of the Year male, between Thomas Partey, John Antwi, Felix Annan, Kasim Nuhu, and Joseph Aid, another very competitive area. And then the Federation Leader of the Year, as well as Coach of the Year, and the National Team of the Year, and then the Sports Personality of the Year, 3 very important personalities. Isaac Dogbe, who dominated in 2018, forget about the fact that he lost the title getting to the tail end of the year, but he was very dominant in 2018 and won the WBO Super Bantamweight title. We also have Thomas Partey, who has been brilliant for club and country, Atletico Madrid, as well as the national team, and Anthony Bafu, who was our Personality of the Year 2 seasons ago and has ascended the throne to become the Deputy General Secretary of the Africa Football Confederation. So, briefly, these will be the areas we shall be looking at. And let me use this opportunity to say that I believe that our colleagues have been doing a yeoman's job over the years. So, I'm looking at an opportunity to award some of the colleagues, sports journalists of the year, and we call it sports journalists of the year. We're hoping that we'll have a panel for next year, but this year, because most of you have done so wonderfully well, I'm hoping that I'll have the privilege of settling on at least one of you as the President's Award, representing the journalists On that note, sir, Thank you very much, and colleagues. Let me declare the 44th edition of the Sports Writers Association of Ghana Award Ceremony duly launched. Thank you very much.
All right, and welcome back. Yes, you saw those local news feed for yourself, and in there you saw Kotoko's disappointing start to the CAF Confederations Cup, and also Richard Comey, of course, making Ghana very proud, being the 9th world champion the nation have had. Yes, and also you saw that the 44th Swag Awards has been launched. These were some of the news in the local news feed. Now let's move to some discussions, and we will do 2 discussions, and then we will go for the foreign news feed. And when we come back, we will go and do some discussions again. But to begin with the discussions, number one that I am very particular about, I'm very concerned about, is of course that of the assessment of the sports minister. Some people are saying he has been the best minister ever. Do you share in those opinions?
Personally, I wouldn't say he's been the best ever. Now it would be so unfair to somebody like the late Kojo Banre do. I mean, you can't say something like that, like put it out blatant like that. He's done his part. He has been, I think, he has done well to help Ghana football. Aside that, maybe the lesser known sports too are also being given the attention they deserve and stuff. But then there's a lot more that can be done, and the job is not done yet. And even look at our league at the moment. There's a whole lot surrounding it, and the whole controversy, the normalization committee, the league being stalled, those kind of stuff. So if you can successfully get them to reinstate the league, to get things running once again, I think maybe we would actually entertain, we wouldn't accept it, but we would entertain a statement like that. So I think there's a lot more to be done, and it will be so rushed to put it out there that he's been the best so far. Yeah.
Joel, do you also share the same opinion? It's funny.
Yeah, because
that's what interesting.
What has Honorable Isiama done so far that we are hailing to be the best sports minister ever. That is, to me, it is, we are trying to disrespect those who won trophies for us. Because the sports minister who led Ghana to win the 82 African Cup was even fired right after that because he embezzled an amount of money worth 18 shillings. 18 shillings. And if we are to go deep into what is going on right now, I mean, some people would have been in jail. Under his tenure, we hosted a tournament that we couldn't even progress to the next stage. Look at the current situation of the Accra Sports Stadium. They started renovating it when we were about to host the tournament. They did something after the tournament. They stopped working at the stadium. So what is Honorable Isiama doing, or what has he done?
Okay, so people have the view that, okay, we have these stadiums or sports facilities that have been left to rot, but he has done his bit by renovating them in the first place. Now he's moving from the Ohinijan Sports Stadium to the Kumasi, which renovation is going to start. He's also cut sod, which is actually in progress. The construction of 10 purposeful sporting facilities in all the regions in the country.
One thing that I always tell my people is that, as it stands now, I don't want to even hear that statement from any politician that we are about to, we are going to.
But the sporting facilities are under construction. No, he even made a tour on them last week.
No, you see, we don't want, because if I am controlling the journalists writing, I won't even write about these things. I want to see that we've commissioned this project.
So if I understood Ebo very well, Ebo said he has done his bit, he's done well, but it seems you are saying he has done nothing at all.
He has done, it is just the day-to-day activities that is going on. The black stars.
But he has not been all about Blasters.
When Richard Kwame won his bout, the Ministry of Sports, congratulations. And when I see messages like this, I laugh because the ministry contributed nothing to their development. They are based in Europe, training. We don't even have a state gym for our boxers. They are using an Azuma Nelson's gym. So what have they been doing? That is why I said I don't want to see we've cut a sword. We are going to do this. I don't even.
Okay, let me run down some of the activities or some of the things that the minister have done, in which people are claiming that he's the best so far.
He has done or he's about to.
There are some that he has done.
Right,
there are
so
some that is ongoing, and there are some he's about to.
Yes,
but one thing being,
we don't want to hear the ongoing because Ghana is 62 years. We are getting to 62, right? Yes, we've been hearing this over and over. We are about to. Where we are going to cut a sword.
Okay, so
what we want
the
to
minister, first off, he has successfully renovated the Ohenijan Sports Stadium, and now they are moving to the Kumasi Sports. It has not started yet, and so we're waiting for it. It has also been, but this stadium, particular one, has been lying there to rot for a very long time ago.
Before we hosted the country 2008.
Talking about 2008, and we are in 2000 and what?
No, you see, before you.
I think no. The only issue here is Ghana as a country and like in general, like school, Africa, for instance. I think we actually lack the culture of maintenance. If that was the case, right? Like if we had the knack to look after the stadium, we are concerned about the well-being of the infrastructure. Would it really get to the point of like doing?
And
like,
do you know one also thing?
Right after the Auko. Right after the Auko. S concept.
Of course.
Over there.
Yeah.
It's normal.
It's normal.
It happens. But then
I am coming. The other time that SWAG hosted that workshop on campus, the rep for the NSAK, and I wanted to know, and she said that these revenues that they get from this concert and stuff, they use it to keep the stadiums in shape. And I was amazed as to the kind of innovations that they have been doing. 2 years ago, Kumasi Sports Stadium, when they hosted the Adonko Easter Monday thing, we went there and both male and female were sharing the same washroom. One whole Kumasi Sports Stadium. So at the end of the day, they will be giving it to funeral contractors. My goodness. National stadium.
But you know, the interesting thing is my view on all these issues is the fact that the past sports ministers have virtually been doing nothing, if I can really say that. So it seems the very little thing that this particular current sports minister is doing seems overwhelming, because we have not been seeing that sort of commitment or works from the past people. And we can make mention, there have been some 8 or 7 sports ministers in the space of about a decade, and it's unprecedented. And if everyone should, let's say, be doing this thing that the current minister has done, especially the renovation of the stadium, even if it's one stadium every year, do you have any idea? Do you have any idea?
Lost their jobs because of one thing: Blasters. I don't want people to see me as someone who is against Honorable Esiana. No. Before you can say that.
But it has always been Blasters, because he has been able to accumulate money for the start of the season, the new league that is coming.
The special competition.
The special competition. He has even helped Kotoko with some monies. And that's one thing I'm also coming at, because it seems that it's very easy for him to get money to do his stuff. And that is something that the sports ministers have not been able to do. I don't get it. Because, Joel, you can state this fact that, okay, sports ministers are not really doing well. But one of those major problems was the fact that finances, they were not getting the money for the ministry. But it seems this particular minister has money, and I'm confused.
They get a budget, and out of that budget, football consumes about 70%
What,
of the
what,
budget.
what do they use the money for? Because we don't see anything.
Blasters.
We don't see anything.
Ah,
But
we-
now
we-
the trend
we-
is
we-
say,
we-
the trend is changing.
We budget $5 million to go to AFCON, to go and win a tournament worth $2.5 million. If not for Ghana, who would do that?
Yeah.
I am not trying to say that Honorable Esiama have done nothing. But what I'm trying to, you said Michael Jordan is the best ever basketball player, right? Because Michael did something that no one has done before.
It's arguably though,
So,
because people
yes,
also have
no,
different
yeah,
opinions.
It is arguably, but you can boldly say it because Michael did something that no one had done before. People are saying that Messi and Ronaldo are the best ever to grace the pitch
Yeah.
because it is only these two players who have been able to win the FIFA best for 5 years, for 5 times. So the two of them, they've won it on 10 occasions. No one have done that.
A whole decade.
A whole decade. So before you can, you were saying that they were giving money to Kumasi. Ministers and the Kwame Nkrumah were doing that, giving money to the clubs.
But this is some phenomenon that we
It is
were not
not.
seeing
It is
in the
because-
past 5 or 4 ministers.
It is because journalists, we are not telling the story. So the little thing that people will do.
But journalists will not tell the story if the clubs were having the money. The clubs themselves will come out with that.
The
Because
clubs,
this,
I don't even want to talk about the clubs because our clubs, I don't know. Yatechi went to China to go and sign a contract on your behalf. Legitimate. It can never happen that you sign a contract on behalf of me and Ebu with Campus TV, and you tell me that there is confidentiality in the contract, that a contract you sign on my behalf, I cannot see the contract.
the Star Times contract. It's interesting.
Star
yes,
Times
that is another a very huge topic for discussion another day.
Going to build football pitches or sports.
It's actually ongoing. They have one at Paga and some other place. It's 10 in total, and they have all started construction.
We are in the 3rd year of their contract. It was in the contract that every year we have to get a pitch. We have to start arresting these Star Times guys. Oh, it is true.
Total rip-off. I mean, yeah.
And you see, it seems no one is talking about it. So no one is talking about it, and these people are just roaming about on the street. Because
but
you can't
okay, you know what? Let me start from you, Ebu. What have you seen the minister do that you wish he will continue? Because it is the best thing to do.
I, for one, I think this thing about the projects, like the ongoing project, we are yet to see. I think it's about time where we were really giving the respect of seeing works, more works than just stuff.
Works.
The works are too much. And if indeed they've really begun the building of the stadia, like you said, I believe it's a fantastic initiative, and it's something that really will benefit the country as a whole. Because
and I'm very happy because it's a multi-purpose stadium.
Exactly. It's been a while since Ghana actually sat down as a country to produce a lot of young talent from academies, like state-owned academies and stuff. All these grassroots stuff we see around. Even the state of our pitches, there's a big question mark on that.
A huge one.
You don't have good camps for them. There's a whole lot. Coach league, it's dead. Like plenty things are going on. And I mean, if it's really indeed in the best interest of the people, like they are so going to do what they say they are doing. I believe it's a fantastic thing. And secondly, them actually getting the Accra Sports Stadium ready for the women's AFCON, I think it was a fantastic job, in the sense that the place has been in a bad shape for a very long time. For a very, very long time. And it was only about time. And they in as much as they couldn't complete like 100% of the work, they just got it ready in time.
What happened that they couldn't complete that project? You see, I have always been saying, if I'm supposed to be a news editor, you will never run a story on a politician going to cut a sword about to do this. We will never run a story like that. You see, it is time that we teach these politicians that we want worse, not worse. So I want to see that, Osu sports complex have been completed. We are going to commission that project. Then journalists, you follow them, you go and cover that story. But we don't want to see that they are just going to cut a sword for the project to start. We've been in this country 2 years ago. I don't want to mention the person's name. they went to secure a land. Last year, Independence Day, they went there to cut a sword. This year, I'm wondering, they are now going to buy the cement.
Yes, it is very true. It's interesting, rather interesting. But before we go for a quick commercial break, you're also your assessment of his tenure so far, and what do you think he should continue to do, because that's the right way to go, if I can say that.
Arguably, I think they should complete the renovation and the class post. That is my word.
Before even thinking of moving to the Kumasi.
Yeah. Because you see, it is our attitude. Yeah, so. And they should focus on how to get that work done. They should complete the renovation at the Accra Sports Stadium before they even think about moving to the Kumasi Sports Stadium, because you cannot be touching things and leaving it just like that. When you touch this,
make sure you finish it.
It's going to take 4 years for you to complete this project. It is good and it is going to serve the public good than touching 5 projects and at the end of the day you can't complete any of them. That is what the minister should do before he leaves office. They should complete their, because it is just at the back of where I stay. So when they do it, I will know.
It is interesting, yes, viewers. This is Sports Basilica right here on Campus TV, and of course, it is getting hotter by the minute. My guest here, of course, the champion man himself, Ebo Marshall, has some different views than that of Joel Ishon. He's trying to be controversial here, but it's all good, and it's nice, and I love it. Of course, we need to put these men on their toes, because come on, it's taxpayers' money and we deserve better. So let's go for a very quick commercial. Before we come back, normalization committee, we will dissect them. Stay tuned.
Thought you were retired.
Oh, I am. Just like your dad.
My name's Cable. I'm here for the kid.
What? The kid?
Move or die.
Carry their own franchise for 10 to 12 years.
This means Billy!
What is happening?
Just an average Wednesday morning.
One foot in front of the other.
I'm not who I used to be. I'm lost.
You need to remember who you are. Christopher always comes to save us. Now it's our turn to save him.
And Rusev goes one-on-one with John Cena, and it only right in front of me. Put me in a match with Jinder Mahal for the WWE title.
Randy, you got your rematch.
The colors tell their story.
America is a cancer to the world. At Battleground, this flag will fly high.
And their story begins.
This is gonna be your view when you hear and your new WWE champion
On the battleground.
I do what it takes.
Let's get you plugged in.
A cruise? Ooh.
Okay, smile.
Come on in. Wait, didn't you try to eat me? Show me your teeth. Run!
We've been spotted.
We are online.
Hello viewers, welcome back. Yes, from that very short commercial break, let me remind you that you're watching Campus TV and this is Sports Basilica. Get interactive with us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it is Campus TV GH, and on our Instagram page is campus.tv, and also where you go to Twitter, it is Campus TV _GH. And it's getting interesting by the minute, as I said before we went for the commercial break. And we back with Normalization Committee and also Kumasi Asante Kotoko's Confederations Cup chances. It's interesting, that one there. But before we go to Kotoko, let's look at Normalization Committee. What a mess.
What a mess indeed.
What a mess.
I mean, I think Madame Lucy Quist, I don't know what really enticed her to go ahead with whatever she said on Joy FM, on, how do you call it? On the Super Morning Show. So, first of all, you don't really talk about things you don't know. That is it. It's basically, it's more or less like lying. You don't talk about things you don't know. And that's exactly what she did. Dan Kwekwe Yeboah came out to say that, oh, okay, so the Normalization Committee doesn't, like, they've actually not seen the documents the ex-GFA president and Xylophone Cash signed in accordance to like the agreement for the league sponsorship, right? So Dan Kwekwe Yeboah put that out, and you came out, like you came out later on, came out to say that you've actually seen the document. When I mean, the PRO of the Normalization Committee says, the mouthpiece of the committee says, you've not seen the document, then you will come. Then come and say, oh, you've seen it.
It's there.
It's there. So right now, Jesus Christ, produce the document.
Asuma Ibeje. It's interesting, this country we have here right now. What do you think is the problem?
I think, first of all, she didn't respect maybe the channel of communication. If she was to take if she had taken her time, like she had sought the counsel of the colleagues and the other members of the committee, or even the PRO, just the PRO, I think this mess wouldn't have been created in the first place, because you would have known there and there that indeed the committee hasn't seen the document, right? So you didn't go to the extent. A lot of people listen to these morning shows. So what the least thing you say on
this particular subject is something that is on the eye of the public.
Exactly.
This contract.
Exactly, because the whole Normalization Committee, people are really bashing them. Some are saying they are chopping money. They are just they are not doing anything to help the football to come back. And you go out to go and come on, man.
You give them the chance.
Come on. So I think she did one on herself, and I don't know how they are going to fix it. Right now, the publics are waiting for them to. You want to see the document?
Okay, Normalization Committee. This is a communication student. Yes, he can help you. I trust Ibu Marshall to really clean up this mess, because this is a very huge one. But Joel, this is giving or affirming the statement made by some people that the Normalization Committee do not know anything about Ghana football, and they shouldn't even be there in the first place.
You see, one, I don't agree with those people, because where we are now is as a result of the actions of the so-called football people. I tell you, when you go to England, Roman Abramovich is not part of the administration that runs the English football. That is the English Football Association. Roman Abramovich is not part. That is why they have a club. So the Premier League board, that is where maybe you can see Roman Abramovich there. Back to the issue. It's when I heard the issue, three things came to mind. One, personally, I don't doubt Dan Kwekwe. If Dan had even given this piece in his seat as the show host of the sports show on Peace FM, I would have still believed Dan. Giving it as the mouthpiece
of the committee
also says something. Now the second one, it means that there is a problem with the committee. And the third one, Madam Lucy Quist is not on top of issues.
Have they ever been top of issues?
Vice president.
Would you say
Vice
they have ever
president,
been
not
on
a
top of
That
issues?
is why I was not so hard on what Lawyer Adonti was doing because he was a member. But vice president, we expect you to
You should know something.
more, than even a spokesperson. Because at the end of the day, you and the president will settle on various decisions. And for you to say this on the Super Morning Show, and then you realize that no, I've made a mistake. Then you go and write it on Facebook. I don't want to even talk about the channel.
Facebook.
You see, even if you write it on your status, it is still public and you take it. But the thing is, the harm has already been done. The normalization committee should just come.
The harm has already been done. But what's the way forward?
Organize a press conference.
That would
Let
have
the
been
people
it would
know
have
the
solved
current
everything.
situation. Because now it is a two-sided point. Maybe the contract is there, but the Madam Lusequest didn't know that Dan had made such comments, and now they told her that, hey, what are you doing? Go and tell them that the contract is not there. It can also be that she was not on top of issues, just like I said. So now the way forward, organize a press conference. Communication is simple. See, we've been going through a lot of problems that the solution is just sitting beside us. Communication. Organize a press conference. Invite the press to come. Let them know the truth. Because now the vice president is saying this, the spokesperson is also saying this. So now, whose words should we pick?
You know, it brings me to the point, the Kotoko issue. That's why I made my earlier statement that it seems that they do not know anything about what they are being put in there to manage or to do, because Kumasi Asante Kotoko had to quote the constitution for a whole normalization committee set up to man the affairs of football in the country to restoration. And these people wanted to stop Kotoko from going to the competition. Meanwhile, they didn't even know that they do not have that power.
They didn't try to stop Kotoko from participating in the CAF club competition.
So what do you call it?
They gave them the question. Who wants to play in Africa? None of them. They said they are not going. Mr. George Amaku, the chief executive officer of Kotoko, was there at that meeting. None of them said that we want to go. It was when George Amaku went back that the bank roller, that is Dr. Kwame, made him to know that Charlie, we are in the we have the capability. We can go to Africa.
Yeah.
So that was where the problem started. Just that the normalization committee didn't handle it. And I feel like sometimes we are being unfair to them because you cannot use 6 months to clean a mess someone used 30 years to create.
Okay, you know, this normalization committee, we go back and forth over this issue over and over and over again. And I know that this is not the first time we're actually speaking about this committee, but this is just 20 seconds. Do you really think, Ebu, that these people were the right guys to be in these particular positions that they occupy?
I think the background of some of the members in there brought out a lot of questions. And I, for one, I think the fact that they have some football people in there, like he said earlier, the football people created the whole mess, right?
Yeah.
So this time around, they brought people with diverse backgrounds. Some don't even have anything to do with football, but then it's also understandable. But I also maintain the stance that the fact that they have some football people in there, they've been in the sports for some time now, and they know what is up. So they can really advise them as to what the best measures will be. And in so doing, them meeting and taking those decisions, I think the best can be done for Ghana football. I believe they can do a better job. I still maintain a stance that they can do better, but then
Joel, do you have the same take?
You see, legit, like I said, you cannot use 6 months to clean a mess someone, the same people who are calling on the head of the normalization committee to start organizing elections for them. The same people use 13 years to create the mess we are in now. Normalization committee. They are not Captain Planet. They are not Jesus Christ. They are not Muhammad. They are not the Buddha. We should allow these people to rest, to have a clear mind, to work. And I'm also telling them that they should put their house in order. There are some people within the committee that they should shut them up. Oh, it is true. You see, when you listen to Dr. Kofi Amwa, I was listening to the Joy Sports Lane last 2 weeks Saturday, and the administrator for Dreams FC was there. And when Dr. Kofi Amwa finished talking, the administrator said that, you see, this man is deceiving you. When we are in a meeting, the way he communicates with you, the media, that is not the same way Dr. Kofi Amwa communicates in the clubs. So we could clearly see that Dr. Kofi Amwa is on top of issues. But what do we see from the other members? Lord Adonte, we didn't start on a good note. And now,
but you know what, because of our time, we will have to move from this committee issue because
I'm telling Dr. Kofi Amwa that they should shut some people down. You see, he's the president. He can give an order.
And I don't even get it in the first place because they have a PRO. So why do people even come out to speak at all in the first place?
They want fans.
But you know what, as I said earlier, let's focus on Kumasi, Asante Kotoko. Of course, they had a very disappointing start to their campaign, the CAF Confederations Cup. We're hoping that they will bounce back very strong because their group is quite a top one, but we have faith in them that with the support and they are also, managerial qualities, they will be able to overcome all these teams and make it into greater heights because I'm honestly tipping them to at least reach the quarter-finals. Ebo, Kotoko, their chances in Confederations Cup.
It's a tough one. I for one, I think they showed what they were about when they secured qualification to the group stages, right?
Yeah.
So playing against Zesco, Nkana, and Al Hilal, I think those three clubs are not to be taken for granted. Nkana has been a champion. It's actually the club with the most league titles in Zambia, 11, right?
No joke.
No joke. When you go to Al Hilal, they've won. I think they've been on top of things at Sudan for a long time, consistency, and they have massive, great facilities to back up their claim.
Yeah.
And Nkana's rival Zesco, they are also not to be joked with. So I think it will be a tough one for Kotoko. And like you said, they started on a very poor note, and going away is always not easy.
Yeah.
I mean, no one would want you to walk into his home ground and you just take away the points.
Exactly.
I think the damage.
And it was a very narrow ring as well.
Exactly.
Just a goal down.
Just a goal. The damage is minimal because of the score line. And this time around, coming to hosting, Zesco in the next match, I think it's up to them to up the ante and maybe we can take it from there. If they manage to get the first win at Kumasi against Zesco, I think it will be a step in the right direction. So I'm not really ruling them out completely. They have something to prove, and I believe they have the firepower to do that as well.
Okay, Joel, Kotoko, do they have something to prove? Do they have the firepower, as Ebo is saying?
Obviously, their target was to reach the money zone. So obviously they've achieved their target. So now they are looking forward to get more points for Ghana. Now in their game against Ira, ball possession 45 against 55 for Kotoko. So it means that CK Aponos Agro football, just as he has always been bragging about, was working on that day. Now we had 31 shots in total in the game.
Yeah.
Kotoko had 13. They registered only a shot on target against 6 of Ayla. That is a problem. In terms of passes, Kotoko were leading, I think, 400 and something. Ayla only gave 393 passes. But the thing is, the attack.
Yeah.
It clearly shows because for you to have 13 shots on and register only 1 on target is a problem. Because 13 shots as against 18 of Ayla. Ayla registering 6 shots on target. and you register only one, it means that
it's interesting. It's like a team with Murata on top, and I don't get it.
It means that the attack for Sonny Yakuba, Maxwell Bako, Fatau, and Emmanuel Jenfi. And once again, my problem with Jenfi always want to use the flanks. And if you are a stagnant winger like that, you always find it. Yeah, you always get yourself into trouble when you get a very good left or right back.
So what do you suggest the way forward for Asante Kotoko?
Jenfi should try in their game against Zesco United. Yes, Zesco also have a very good and a very clinical striker who can link up play very well. The one who scored the second goal for Zesco against Nkana. What I'm expecting Jenfi to do in their game against Zesco United is that obviously Sonny Yakuba is like, if you had watched the game Chelsea lost against Bournemouth, the balls were not coming. So Gonzalo is going to have to leave the box. And if you watch his second goal against Huddersfield, where he was, Hazard was bringing the ball, but Gonzalo was not in the box.
Yeah.
He is someone who likes to play like the Benzema. That is why every day when Madrid is attacking, you see Ronaldo in the box, Benzema will be playing. So what Jenfi, Bako and Fatau should do is that they should be rotating themselves. And Jenfi, if the flanks is not working, Jenfi, you are a very good player. Skill, your ability to dribble, your vision for goal, for pass. So Jenfi should also try to utilize the midfield, the space between Sonny Yakuba and Fatau.
I think
you should try and utilize that area, and it will work. And
it's interesting.
Kotoko will have to by all means win against Zesco United. It is not that I am trying to write off Zesco United, but I'm telling you, Zesco is the strongest team in that particular group. And as it stands now, Nkana are the whipping boys in the group. Zesco already have their 3 points from Nkana, remaining with 3, and I'm sure Ahila will also take the 3. So if Kotoko will also want to qualify, they should take the 6 from Ahila, try and from Nkana, maybe at least they should try and get a draw. Ebo said that Zesco are coming in to get a draw. It is a lie.
They come in to win.
Well,
United, I mean, we just have to hope.
I remember what I said.
We just
I didn't talk about draws.
No, he didn't talk about draws. He didn't talk about draws.
Sit in his backyard for you to walk in and take the points away.
Exactly.
Zesco, their target is to win the Confederations Cup. So when Zesco is coming,
they are really good. I think they were in the semi-final in 2017.
Yes, when Zesco is coming, my brother, you must trust. You see, the atmosphere, Cotton Sports the Gara. The reason why they didn't perform at the Baba Sports Stadium was the first leg. And I'm telling you, you sit in your home for someone to come and get 3 goals.
Well, it seems that we just have to hope that Kotoko will bounce back very strongly, because it seems now their problem is the attack. Because it seems they are doing everything right.
The left back position, where Amos Frimpong is. I think.
Sika Akono, I hope you're listening, because this is what we have to do.
I think it is one of the
to put you on your toes. So now we have the left wing and the attack.
The attack, I think on that they were just sleeping.
No, the attack. You see, the problem was Yakuba didn't really get someone to link up with.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. The supplies from Bako, Fatau, and Jenfi were not coming.
Yeah.
So these 3 guys, I trust myself Bako very well. He scored a very spectacular goal against Cotton Sports the Gara. Bako should just wake himself up, Charlie. Even though the target was to reach the money zone, if you don't try and you qualify and you lose like a Diana,
you just have to use them as an example. So, as Kumasi Asante Kotoko will do well and bounce back very strongly, because, of course, the nation is right behind them, giving them the full support that they need. So, Sike Akono, please work out your magic, yes, and really put up your best so that Kotoko can bring victory to Ghanaian people. Now, let's move away from that and do some foreign news feeds. And when we come back, we'll look at the Under-20 Cup of Nations Africa and also some stories. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Former France international Hatem Ben Arfa is seeking millions of euros of damages from Paris Saint-Germain for allegedly freezing him out in the final year of his contract, his lawyer told AFP on Monday. Hatem Ben Arfa claims he was frozen out at PSG. The 31-year-old former Newcastle United midfielder lodged his complaints with the Paris Industrial Tribunal last week. Lawyer Jean-Jacques Bertrand said Ben Arfa joined PSG in 2016 but was sidelined from April 2017 until his contract expired at the end of the last season. He played in 23 Ligue 1 matches for PSG, often as a substitute, without scoring a single league goal. Ben Arfa, who is currently with Ligue 1 side Rennes, is seeking between 7 and 8 million euros in damages for discrimination he suffered for non-sporting reasons, French radio station RMC Sports reported. The damages correspond to bonuses Ben Arfa says are unpaid. He began his professional career with Lyon, before spells with Marseille and 3.5 seasons with Newcastle United. Hakim Al-Arabi, a Bahraini refugee and Australian resident, fears torture and even death if he is returned to his homeland. Hakim, who has been held in Thai custody since November following Bahrain's extradition request, arrived in court in chains and pleaded with reporters and football officials to help secure his freedom. "Please don't send me to Bahrain," he said. A former Australian football captain, Greg Foster, and other campaigners turned up to offer support to the embattled player. Hakim was stopped at a Bangkok airport in November when he arrived in Thailand for a holiday and has been held in detention since then, as Thai court decide whether to send him back to the Gulf state. The court said Hakim will be given 60 days to object to the extradition request and will need to present his case in April when the judges reconvene. Hakim was convicted in absentia on charges of vandalizing a police station in Bahrain, but says he was out of the country playing in a match at the time of the alleged offense. A Bahrain official said last month Hakim has all the rights and opportunities to defend himself in the criminal case against him, and that he may also appeal for guilty verdict. The New England Patriots beat the Los Angeles Rams 13-3 on Sunday, February 3rd, in the lowest scoring Super Bowl played to capture the National Football League championship for a record-tying 6th time. The victory, which moved the Patriots into a share of the all-time mark with Pittsburgh Steelers, was also a record 6th Super Bowl triumph for Tom Brady, who at 41 became the oldest quarterback to win the championship game. Brady was joined in the record books by 66-year-old Bill Belichick, who becomes the oldest coach to hoist the Vince Lombardi Trophy. Brady again orchestrated a victory, finally cracking open a tight 3-3 defensive battle late in the fourth quarter when he hit Rob Gronkowski with a 29-yard pass to set up a 2-yard touchdown run by Sonny Michel. Until the few final minutes, the most spectacular moment of an uninspiring contest came when the $1.6 billion Mercedes-Benz Stadium Ocala 8-panel retractable roof opened to a massive roar. Spanish prosecutors have sentenced the ex-Manchester United and Real Madrid boss to 12 months in prison as part of a deal reached to tax fraud case. Jose Mourinho has accepted a 12-month prison sentence and a fine of close to 2.2 million euros after admitting to tax fraud in Madrid, but will not serve time in jail. The 56-year-old was accused of evading paying in the region of 3.3 million euros taxes on image rights while he was head coach of Real Madrid. The Portuguese will not spend any time in prison as the sentence is less than 2 years. Mourinho was in charge of Madrid from 2010 until the end of 2012-2013 season. The offences were alleged to have been committed between 2011 and 2012. It was reported last September that he had agreed to accept a 1-year prison sentence and fine in order to bring the legal proceedings to an end. Speaking to reporters outside court in Pozuelo de Alcaro in November 2017, he said, "I did not answer, I did not argue. I paid and signed with the state that I am in compliance and the case is closed." A number of prominent figures in football, including former Madrid striker Cristiano Ronaldo, his ex-teammate Marcelo, and Barcelona forward Lionel Messi, have been punished for tax offences in the last 2 years. The missing plane of Cardiff striker Emiliano Sala and pilot David Epsd was found on Sunday after private search. The investigators located the wreckage on the seabed of the English Channel. An investigation shows a body in which it is Sala in the plane, and afterwards communicated the latest development to the families of those on board. Emiliano Sala joined Cardiff from Nantes for a £15 million club record fee during the January transfer window, but a plane carrying the Argentine and pilot Epsd from France to Wales disappeared on 21st of January. The family of the footballer Emiliano Sala has called for the authorities to continue to search for missing pilot David, as the world of football came to terms with the confirmation of the striker's death. All players will wear black armbands at the Premier League games this weekend, and there will be a minute's silence before the game between Cardiff City, the club he had signed for before the plane crash, and Southampton.
Alright, so you saw for yourself, that was some foreign news feeds. There we had Ben Alpha, who drags PSG to court, and also we have Jose Mourinho escaping jail sentence, and it's rather really interesting. Mourinho, the special one, and some other stories you saw in there. But now let's move back to the discussions. We are really behind time, so everyone has just about 2 minutes each to talk about the Under-20 African Cup of Nations. Ghana's chances. We started off really well. Yes, we won by 2-0, and the striker, I love his his eye for goal. Like, he does not back down no matter what. These are players who, when a defender should pass a goalkeeper, they will change the ball till the goalkeeper hits the ball in. And I really love that. It was very good for that particular striker. Again, getting Ghana the 2 goals that we much really needed.
I think it's first of all a step in the right direction. It's quite refreshing to see that the young talent are also pulling up the weights, which we can see that when Black Stars, I think when the old guys fade out, we know whom to rely on in the coming years. So it's actually a good start. But then again, I believe their biggest challenge yet is against Senegal. That's how I see it. And if we manage to get a win over Senegal, I think our qualification to the World Cup will be sealed, right? So it's up to them to really up the ante this time around, and no complacency. I mean, just go for the goal and make sure we get a convincing win, and that will be all.
Exactly. Joel?
Yeah, I think kudos to Coach Kobla and his guys, and also to the amazing guy, Daniel Lomoto. But you see, my problem in the game is that they were not playing as a team. The 2 goals came because of the brilliance or individual brilliance of Lomoto. You count these guys' performance, and with the type of football they are playing,
there was no bonding.
It's just funny if you try to tell someone that these guys were calm performers. And today, my sources, or I checked and I found out that out of the 40 players or so who were camped, only 3 are featured. The rest are foreign-based players. So obviously, they play. And our biggest challenge is against it. We should try and see a different team from the way we played in our previous games. We should, the tempo, the team, the link-up plays, we should see positive plays in it, not the individual players.
Great.
Obviously, Senegal are also a strong side who are also coming in for the goal. So if you want to match them both from both, sometimes individual brilliance doesn't work. That is why Belgium couldn't beat France. Because France, you see, the teamwork was there. And
it's interesting.
Yes, interesting. So we should try, the coach should talk to these guys. Try and locate yourselves on the pitch. Because when you get the ball from the right side, if you turn, you must know that, by the time I turn, only a day here. So obviously that is what we need to do if we want.
But aside the black satellites, generally, how will you say the tournament is like? in Niger?
I think Niger have really done like quite a commendable job, and I for one I'm really happy about the progression of their football in recent years. Niger, funny thing is, Niger have a very like core community in Ghana here. Like people don't know about that. When you go to Tudu, I think that area they have people like Kaswa and stuff. So in the Niger team itself, you find a lot of Ghanaian guys in there. They recruit our boys and they actually send them to their side. And some of their people down here also, they've given birth and stuff. And I think Ghana is a good setting to groom a kid in football. The talent here is amazing. So if you get them into the system, so they are really doing well. In a few years to come, I think they'll really be a problem in African football. Like they'll really cause a lot of problems to the
a lot of upsets to the
so-called
top dogs.
So with the organization of the competition itself, I feel they've done a good job, and it's like, to me, it's a step in the right direction for them. It will really build their confidence to see that people don't regard Niger as a footballing country. So it will really build their confidence in the coming years for them to even, maybe, who knows, the AFCON might go to them in a few years time. So they should just keep up the good work. That's all.
It's interesting, yes.
Just as I said that, for me, as it stands now, I don't praise people until the thing is done. So as it stands now, they are doing a good job in terms of the organization of the tournament. But I can rate them after the tournament. But as it stands now, they are doing a good job, and we are still keeping our eyes on them till the end of the competition.
Sure, and it's really interesting. I love it. One particular thing is about the attendance. No, it does not matter if Niger is playing or not. They have quite a substantial amount of attendance in almost every single game that is played in the tournament. And I love that. It seems that the Niger people are really into football, and it's very good. But to the noble act of self-defense, I'm talking about boxing, and to more wins for Ghana, Richard Comey. Yes, he stopped his Russian counterpart. The name is how do you pronounce it? Shaniev, or, well, I'm a Ghanaian, yes, and even though part of me is from Jamaica, I don't know anything about Russia, so don't kill me. The guy, it seems he was no match for Comey. He was no match at all.
I mean, the blows, Comey, Kali, forget, the blows coming to him, I think. Kwame did a good job though. I mean, after 20
I liked the way he was focused prior to this particular bout.
You could see that.
And he said it in almost every single interview. All I want to do is train and win this title. My focus is on this title. And he was not just only saying it, he actually meant it, and we saw it.
He was putting it, like he was putting in the works from scratch. He really meant the bout, and he delivered at the end of the day. And it's maybe it's a bit unfortunate for the guy, but then Ghana needed the win. Last year, I think, getting to the end of the year, where hit with a blow, our guy Dogbe couldn't defend the title, and he lost it. A whole lot has happened in Ghana boxing, but then Kwame lifted that, how do you call it, that cloud, like he brought a little bit of shine to the country. So I think for him to go out there to grab the win like that, in that fashion, round 2, right? He just stopped it, So he did a great job, and it's not the end goal for him. I think he has to defend the title now, and he has to hope.
That's the hard part.
That's the hard part. So defending the title and going for more. We all wish him the best.
Well, Joel, call me. 1 minute.
Ebo said Ghana was looking for a win. I don't know what Ghana has
we needed a win.
Ghana as a country. What have we done for these people that
well, we saw as a Dogbe triumph some number of times before even the country came in support. You see, so sometimes you need recognition. No, I know, I understand where you come from, but the thing is, you have to have some form of recognition before everyone throws their weight behind you.
Yes, the thing is, see, personally, the fact that the country isn't supporting you doesn't necessarily mean
you should go and fail.
I am not talking as in support, as in listen, cheering them up. What?
I know fiscal,
but now
we are not contributing anything in their development, and at the end of the day, we are expecting something huge from them.
It's a step by step.
Exactly.
Right now, listen, you've identified the problem, right? We've identified the problem.
Yes.
They are working on the solution.
Well,
it's
well,
not concrete.
I'm coming. Well, who is working on that solution?
No, they are working on the solution.
No,
But Joel, do you also share the same view that boxing was totally dead in about 5 or 4 years ago?
4 years ago, yes.
So now the trend is changing. So bear in mind that it will take time.
No. Listen.
Why did people have to come in?
Listen, it all forms part of it.
Form parts of what?
We can't depend on the government like
to do everything.
We can, because the Black Stars who have been doing nothing.
No, if you bring the Black Stars in every equation, then we wouldn't really go for it.
You see,
No. I think the Black Stars shouldn't even come here in the first place. Now this is a new dimension that we want to focus our target on.
My problem is,
and I really want us to do more than focusing on Black Stars, because this Black Stars issue will come over and over and over and over again. Some people even have the view that Black Stars should even have their own budget in the finance minister's books.
Here's the case. See, number one, the thing is, if you gain the recognition, if you win, you gain recognition. If recognition comes, it means a lot of eyes will be on you. If that comes, self-confidence it will be improved. If that happens, there will be the initiative to improve that particular discipline.
Exactly.
But then again, we understand the fact that the government isn't really contributing to the development of this.
The government is pushing money into.
But Joel, do you think that now Kome wouldn't have anything or wouldn't get anything from the government now?
You see, that is why I'm saying, Ghanaians, we always want glory.
No, the thing is,
we don't.
No, you have not answered me. Won't Kome get anything from government now? As a token of appreciation, now people, not even the government, there are people outside the corporate world, because even when Dogbe started, he had the likes of Kempixi supporting him by sponsorships. Exactly. What got him that sponsorship? What got him that sponsorship? The exposure, the recognition. That is what I'm saying.
No, Kempinski is an entity. I'm talking about Ghana as a country.
And governments can't do everything. Government can't do everything.
The government can do it. You see, I'm telling you.
It is interesting. If I leave these guys, they will go on and on and on and on and on.
Our money to the Blasters and we get nothing. We don't get any trophy. About 50%.
We get that bit. Now let's move away from there and focus on this right now.
Our money. So if these boxers are giving us titles, why don't we stop wasting our money on the Black Stars? You see, this year we started again. We are going to win AFCON. Then they will budget 5 million back. They will go and they will come back empty hands.
Hold your horses there. Now let's go for a very quick commercial break. When we come back, of course, we'll delve into some stories, especially Champions League, and also hear what people have to say about the statement that people are recently making, that the sports minister currently, Honorable Isiama, is the best ever. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
You are on Trace 101. Keep it locked right here. It's East, baby.
Yes, people, it's Samini. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Trace 101 Africa.
Trace 101, you don't know anything gone up in the skies. This is Shakawale, Trace 101 Africa. Don't stop, watch this. Keep it down. Champion.
Captain to the planet of 4x4, and you are watching
Trace 101 Africa.
And you're watching Trends TV. Don't go anywhere. Don't tell why.
Say you love me, baby. Say you love me. I go hold you down. If you say you love me,
for you be my brother. For now you be my enemy.
Sunday.
About the assertion people are making that the sports minister, Honorable Isiama, is the best one ever. Do you agree? Get interactive with us and send us your opinion. And talking about sending us your opinion, also remember that the question of the day was stated earlier, and it is that which team won the just ended Asian Cup and how many times have they won it? That is also our question of the day. You can also get interactive with us on our social media platform. But now back in the studios, as I was saying, Champions League. Now let's move to the foreign bit. It's interesting. Manchester United, PSG, and you know the list goes on and on and on and on, and we can't wait, can we?
No, we can't. I for one, I'm really fired up for the United. I'm a United. Let me just put this out. I'm a staunch Manchester United.
Okay.
I'll actually die for the club.
Hey,
so let me put
I
that
can
out
see
there.
it.
I for one, I'm looking forward to our clash with Paris Saint-Germain. I mean, I think about six weeks ago, I wouldn't have been in this very position.
Yeah.
Looking at the whole mess surrounding the club, the controversy with Pogba,
really bad.
Mourinho, come on, like it was, the atmosphere was just something else. But Ole came in and I think we are on course. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. How do you call it? 10, is it 9 unbeaten games? Yeah.
10 unbeaten games.
10 unbeaten.
9 wins, 1 draw.
1 draw. Yeah.
Impressive.
9 wins, impressive.
By all standards. Phenomenon.
So, PSG, I know they are scared. If it was, like I said, if it was about 6 or 8 weeks ago, it would have been a different case. But then, as things stand at the moment, they will be scared. Because the heat's coming to them, or the heat. We are really geared up for this. And I hope, and funny thing is, and I think one thing that should be commended is the fact that Solskjaer, after the game with Leicester, I think a few minutes after his interview, just flew out to Paris.
To Paris, toward the
Paris
game.
Saint-Germain and Olympic
Exactly.
Lyon. Amazing. And
I guess he had a very great result.
I believe so. Look at what Lyon did to PSG.
Exactly.
It would have sealed a lot for him there. So I think it will be a tough game by all standards. It will be a tough game. And maybe Neymar not, like he's still a doubt for the clash. So maybe Neymar not playing in that game it wouldn't really impact the game a lot because they still have Mbappe and Di Maria who can equally do the damage. So
Di Maria, of course, coming back to Old Trafford.
Yeah, it will be interesting. So I think I wouldn't want to get ahead of myself to make any prediction, but let's just hope for the best for United.
But Joe, Sean, now I don't even know if I should let you speak because your team is not playing the Champions League, and I don't know. Okay, let me give you, because I'm a fair guy, I'm a nice guy. I'll give you the nod to also say something about the Champions League.
Sometimes some people are funny.
Which people are that? Which people are that?
You deceive yourself, you deceive our viewers and our listeners that Paris Saint-Germain are afraid of Manchester United. Oh my God!
See, you can't dispute the fact that
I'm coming. Like seriously, Paris Saint-Germain are afraid of Manchester United.
No, don't forget. Yes,
because they have gone 10 games unbeaten.
Yes,
10 games unbeaten.
Yeah.
And you should be scared.
With 25 goals.
You are about to
conceding every game.
6 goals, 25. Come on, draw the ratio. 25 goals, 6 conceded.
You see, relax.
Joel, say something about Champions League and let's move on. We don't have time.
My point is, Paris Saint-Germain, they are coming very strong. Obviously, United are picking up a bit. Oh, they are picking up.
You just have to add a bit part.
No, they are picking up.
a bit.
See, what I am saying is that when I play your game, it's on the 13th. 13th, yes. 13th. We are using money to celebrate our Valentine.
Oh, interesting. But aside the United PSG game, which game are you also anticipating?
Juventus, Atletico Madrid.
Wow.
Atletico Madrid are struggling of late. They are really struggling. Alvaro Morata just joined them and they lost.
Your
former striker.
Put it out there, your former striker.
Now I have the Gonzalez.
Okay.
Okay. Well, they are Rashford, Palmer, the games. Okay. So what? And the Liverpool and the Bayern Munich game. That is also a game.
Yeah.
We are all waiting to know the outcome.
Yeah.
But my bet or my focus it's not going to be on the United Airways. Definitely, I know they will lose.
So where will your focus be then?
The Atletico Madrid and the Juventus.
Okay.
It is going to be, and one significant thing is that the return of CR7 in Madrid.
Wow. We can't really wait.
Yes.
We can't really wait. Yes.
So
next season, make sure your team makes it to the Champions League, and then we will.
How to get.
But okay, viewers out there, so this were some, I don't know if I should call it predictions or prophecies from my pundits right here. And then I did auto numbers. But viewers, let's go for some other segments too. Of course, this is called Do You Recall? Do You Recall? And today we are looking at the last time Kumasi Asante Kotoko, the Porcupine Warriors, the Kumasi boys, yes, won the CAF Champions League. Do you remember? Well, let's take a look. Our very last segment, of course, is the Did You Know segment. A lot of people know some rules in football, but there are some that I bet you did not know that this was actually the name. So today we take you to the park where we have the 18-yard box, the center line, the flanks, and what have you to know the basic rules in football. Let's take a look and we'll be right back. All right, so we're back. You saw it for yourself. Those were the basic rules in football, and it's really interesting. I know some of you didn't know that was actually the correct name of what you thought the name was, and it's interesting. Now let us come back to my panelists. Any last words before we draw the curtains? It has been very interesting. I loved it myself, of course, aside the fact that he was trying to be some wavy. Yeah, Joe, they forget him.
It's good for discussion, so I wouldn't really.
Of course, but they should make it the Champions League. That's the important part.
Yeah, Chelsea has to come. I'm not trying to be controversial. I'm saying.
Okay, 20 seconds. Say something and let's go. As you were saying, continue saying and let's go.
Telling Paris Saint-Germain, my jersey is already there, customized. Friends of Paris Saint-Germain, we are there on campus on the 13th of February. It is going to be great. But definitely, I'm not going to watch it. But I know it is 3-1 score for those who would like to bet 3-1 against Paris Saint-Germain. And we are using you people to celebrate our Valentine.
Against Paris Saint-Germain. Okay, we thank you very much. 3-1 against Paris Saint-Germain.
3-1 against Manchester United.
All right, Ebo. Any last words?
I'm really good with predictions. But
yeah.
You can't even predict.
I can do that. No, I can do that.
You know you are going to lose. Why do you still want to force yourself to give the United fans a false hope?
I'll predict.
You are not doing any good.
No, I'll predict.
Predict and let's go.
3-1 in favor of United.
Bam.
Yes.
Okay, it has been said. 3-1 in favor of Manchester United. So viewers, oh my goodness, it has been exciting, it has been fun, educative, informative, and of course very, very entertaining. This is the first episode of the all new and refreshing second season of your favorite sports magazine show, Sports Basilica, and you are watching Campus TV, the #1 campus television channel we have in the country and all of West Africa. And of course, I will be signing out, and before I do that, I want to send out my sincere condolence to a very good friend of mine whom I got to know through social media, a very staunch follower of Sports Basilica and Campus TV, Lajo, you lost your father about 2 weeks ago. Have my deepest condolence, and Allah knows best. So please, I pray for strength and protection for you, yourself, and your family as well. And may good things come forth after this very sad incident or unfortunate situation. But this is where we draw the curtains for today's program. Of course, a special thank you to my man himself, Emmanuel Budu Arno, Ebo Mashal. Thanks so much, bro. It's always a pleasure having you on board, man. And of course, the blues man, Joel Eshon. Thanks so much for joining. And of course, myself too. Thank me too for being here for you. And I don't want to be biased now. Yes. So viewers, of course, it has been me, myself, Legit Emmanuel, Legitan, Nana Brandon, your host for Sports Basilica. We are going, but keep on watching Campus TV and follow us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it is Campus TV GH. On Instagram, it is campus.tv. And on Instagram, at campus.tv, and on Twitter it is campustv_gh. You can also follow me on my social media handles. On Facebook it is Legit Emmanuel, and on Instagram and Twitter it is at Legit himself. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. A special thank you to my team, the crew, of course, Bra Mike, a very, very, very committed guy right there, a young man, and of course Nina, my producer, and Miss Janet Boateng, my top-notch producer, and of course our executive producer, Boss Aram. So till we meet next time, it is bye for now, but we're leaving you with the lifestyle of Manny Mayweather Jr. Catch you on the flip side.